I sit in Caleb Whitaker's law office. The black funeral dress I wore 3 days ago to Uncle Ben's service, still clinging to my skin like a reminder of grief. The mahogany conference table gleams under the filtered light of the Venetian blinds, each shadow stretching like prison bars. Caleb adjusts his glasses and begins, his voice calm yet unyielding. I am the sole beneficiary of Benjamin Thomas's estate, 1.8 million in liquid assets, a majority stake in Arcadia Home and living worth nearly 15 million, and the Craftsman estate valued at 2.2 million. The words wash over me, numbers too cold to dull the ache of loss. Someday Uncle Ben said this would be mine, but someday was supposed to be decades away, not now at 26. Caleb slides a folder toward me, listing personal items, his watches, the Thunderbird, heirlooms I can't yet touch without breaking. Then the door bursts open. My breath catches as my parents, Grant and Nadine, step into the room. 16 years have passed since they abandoned me with nothing but a note. Their faces are older but recognizable, and the sight makes my hands shake until the coffee cup rattles in its saucer. My father offers condolences, my mother's perfume reaches me, and the endearments they use cut like blades. I whisper that they left me, that they chose to leave, but they step closer as though the past is negotiable. Caleb rises, firm in his disapproval, but they ignore him. Memories slice through me. Finding that note at age 10, Iris making soup on a hot summer night to soothe me. Uncle Ben reading Goodnight Moon even though I was too old. My voice steadies as I ask what they want. Their excuses ring hollow. They didn't come back for me. They came for what I've inherited. Iris appears with her quiet authority, sliding herself between me and them, her presence a shield of loyalty. When Grant sneers at her, I claim her as family. My parents are strangers. I leave the office with Iris by my side, not running but walking tall. Days later, I'm in Uncle Ben's kitchen when the doorbell rings. They stand there looking polished, pretending concern. Against Caleb's warning, I let them in, that stubborn child inside me craving answers. They assess the home with calculating eyes, then lay financial documents on the table, my inheritance dissected into spreadsheets and valuations. They've done their research.
I demand to know how.
They evade, pressing me with words like family and rights. Then Nadine slides another folder forward, custody papers, proof that in 2009 they signed away their parental rights for $13,500. The world tilts. They didn't just abandon me.
They sold me.
Uncle Ben hadn't simply taken me in out of love. He had shielded me, paid them to stay away. Their timing is deliberate, their desperation unveiled. Grant admits debts to dangerous men. Nadine speaks of depression and credit cards, and then comes the threat. They will contest the will. My rage steadies into clarity. Iris intervenes again, declaring me her family and my parents' retreat, but not before promising they'll be in touch. Afterward, Iris comforts me with tea in Ben's porcelain cups, reminding me he saw this day coming. When Caleb calls to reveal Ben's hidden records, the truth crystallizes. Uncle Ben documented everything: voicemails, photographs, even recordings of my parents' attempts at extortion. A restraining order from 2021 proves they were blocked from reaching me for years. The weight of grief shifts into something sharper: power. With Caleb's legal expertise and Iris' unwavering loyalty, I realize I'm not fighting alone. Soon, I meet them again, this time on Arcadia's showroom floor, under bright lights and the watchful eyes of customers. I present the evidence: a restraining order, fake medical pleas, the $13,500 check. Their rehearsed sympathy falters in public. My voice is steady as I tell them biology isn't family.
Uncle Ben taught me that.
They leave in silence, stripped of their control. The employees stand by me, witnesses to my resolve, and strangers offer handshakes of admiration. Yet I know it's not over. Their retreat feels temporary. As I sit with Iris later, Uncle Ben's words echo in my head: patience wins wars. This was only the first battle. I return to Caleb's office, where his table becomes our war room. Documents spread like weapons, every folder a shield. We catalog their tactics, from harassment to threats. Iris adds her own meticulous notes of drive-bys and phone calls, proving they were circling even as Ben declined. My parents aren't reckless. They're calculated, even hiring Martin Keene, a lawyer who once tried to dismantle Arcadia. Caleb assures me intelligence without integrity can still be beaten, but the realization chills me. This won't be a desperate scramble, it's a war. As days pass, the strategy deepens. Caleb outlines their likely claims, that Ben wasn't competent when he left me everything. Iris gathers medical testimony that proves otherwise. We prepare affidavits from employees, and I instruct managers to document my parents' probing questions. Even as fear gnaws at me, something harder takes root: resolve. Then comes the revelation. Uncle Ben named Iris as backup executor, proof of his trust in her. But it also puts her in danger. Caleb warns my parents may try to discredit her. Protecting Iris becomes as urgent as protecting the estate. Together, we expand our defense, building a fortress of documents, testimonies, and trust. By the time the certified letter arrives, summoning me to court, I am no longer the trembling woman who sat in Caleb's office a week ago. I am ready for battle. The court summons arrives with its official stamp glaring up from the counter, and my hands tremble as I read the claim. They allege undue influence, arguing Uncle Ben wasn't of sound mind when he made me sole heir. Worse, they've secured a temporary injunction to freeze assets. It's not just about money anymore. They're threatening the survival of Arcadia itself. Caleb warns me the case is scheduled before a cautious judge and that their attorney, Martin Keene, knows how to weaponize appearances. Hours later, reporters crowd my doorstep, parroting my parents' narrative that I might be too young and grieving to run the business. Customers cancel orders, doubt seeps into the community, and I feel their strategy: dismantle my credibility piece by piece. I refuse to collapse. With Iris and Caleb, I turn my dining room into a war room, stacking evidence Ben prepared years ago. Custody documents proving my parents sold me, restraining orders, private investigator reports, medical records. Managers bring testimonials, employees offer to testify, and Iris gathers statements from doctors and nurses attesting to Ben's mental clarity until the day he died. Their case is manipulative but carefully constructed. Ours is built on truth. Then comes the blow. The hearing is moved up, leaving us less than 12 hours to prepare. I stare at Ben's portrait in a study, vowing not to fail him. By dawn, with Iris at my side, I walk into court armed with every scrap of evidence Ben left behind. The courtroom is cold, polished, humming with tension. My parents sit across the aisle, polished and poised, their attorney oozing charm as he paints me as a grieving dependent who manipulated my vulnerable uncle. I keep my face calm, as Caleb instructed, even as the accusations sting. When it's our turn, Caleb dismantles their facade with precision. He presents the document where they relinquished parental rights for $13,500, court records of harassment, transcripts of threats, and finally, the audio recording of my father's voice extorting Ben. The gallery gasps, and Nadine pales as the evidence unravels their claims. Witnesses testify to Ben's clarity and pride in me, Iris' voice steady as she recalls our Sunday dinners and his unwavering love. The employees confirm his trust in my instincts, customers' admiration for the designs I chose. With every statement, my parents' polished mask begins to crack. The judge listens in silence, her gaze sharp as she examines the documents. When she speaks, the room holds its breath. She denies their petition, enforces the no contest clause, and declares they have forfeited any claim to the estate. She orders them to pay legal fees and issues a restraining order, forbidding them from coming within 1,000 feet of me, my home, or Arcadia. The gavel strikes. For the first time in weeks, I can breathe. Outside, the employees gather in applause, their faith in me unwavering. Iris links her arm through mine, whispering that Ben is watching. Caleb confirms there is no further legal recourse, and I realize the war Ben prepared me for has been won. My parents disappear within 48 hours, their threats hollow, their greed exposed. The business thrives, not because of inheritance but because of resilience. 6 months later, I stand at a podium in a ballroom filled with the city's leaders, accepting the Community Leadership Award. My voice is steady as I speak of quality, integrity, and relationships, the foundation Ben built his empire on, and the foundation I now protect. Iris beams from the front row. Caleb nods in quiet approval, my chosen family radiant in their pride. Arcadia expands to new locations, employees flourish, and the Benjamin Thomas Foundation launches, offering protection to others who, like me, were betrayed by those meant to protect them. I watch lives transform as our support shields them from exploitation, just as Ben once shielded me. At home, I slip into Ben's study, now my own, where expansion plans spread across the desk and the phone rings with news of a scholarship recipient thriving. I remember that 10-year-old girl abandoned at a kitchen table, and I recognize her now only as a part of me, not the whole. Uncle Ben's love and Iris' devotion shaped me into someone capable of protecting others. Looking out the window as the garden blooms, I finally understand what Ben always tried to teach me. Family isn't defined by blood, but by loyalty, by the people who choose to stand beside you when it matters most. And for the first time, I know with certainty, I am equal to the task.